Hello everyone, my name is Sabina and today we're gonna talk about which archetypes you need to choose in order to become seductive, in order to seduce people around you. We're gonna talk about book The Art of Seduction by Greene. Actually, it's my favorite book and I really recommend it to read this if you're a woman. If you're a man, I don't think it's gonna be useful. So let's start. Today we're gonna talk about not about manipulation or tactics. We're gonna talk about archetypes that we might use in our real life. Okay, the archetype number 1, it's a siren. I love siren. When I were a kid, I were obsessed of movies about mermaids and about siren. I really enjoy to watch them, enjoy to look at them, the way how they move, talk, everything very attractive, everything, and how to use it in your real life. Look, siren, these type of archetype, those are creatures. They're spontaneous, they're so mysterious, they're so sexy, they're hot, and in the meantime they're so dangerous because you don't know what to expect from them. She has such freedom inside her. She just do whatever she wants. Okay, the way how she speak, her voice even so attractive. She's not really like yelling or screaming at someone. She's not demanding anything. Okay, those type of creatures, it feels like they're living their own life and they don't give a fuck about anyone. So maybe it's true because those are wild creatures. She's not a human. Okay, she's not a human. Like technically she's not a human. She has her own vibe, okay, and she attractive, but her presence is temporary. You know subconsciously that she's gonna go and never come back. She's gonna just disappear. The siren girls, they look so attractive. They have such a vibe. They're so mysterious. You can't read them actually. You just look at them. You're trying to, you have this feeling that, yeah, I know her, but meantime, you don't know anything about her, okay? You just might think that you know, but you don't know. Those creatures are so feminine, it can't be a man. Siren, it's only women. Actually, my video only for women, not for men. I really surprised when men watch my videos because I don't really expect this. I used to think that men only working 24/7 because social media for women. So we have this type of archetype, siren. She have freedom, she's sexy, she have a lot of energy, she's so dangerous. A symbol of her is water. You're like water. No one can, catch you. Because you just have your own way, you just come and go, disappear, no one might catch you. It feels like people constantly chasing you, but they can't really catch you. Okay, and you create such a vibe because, when something is dangerous and something is like, people cannot really know who you are, know you, they can't really read your mind, they can't really read your thoughts. So basically in this type of archetype, you don't have to talk about your traumas, okay? You don't have to talk about things that makes you vulnerable. You don't have to talk about your personal life. Never. You never talking about your childhood, okay? Because a lot of people use this information against you. They might use this information against you, See, look at this famous influencers. They talk about all their personal life, okay? And what's happening? People use this information against them to hurt them, okay? The less you talk about your personal life, the less people know you. Another type of archetypes is rake. Actually, I don't really understand this. Archetype rake, passionate, exciting. It's like, the symbol of rake is a fire. And there is a lot of girls, women, they have like such a fire inside them. And you just feel it the minute you just look at this girl. She have such an energy, she never tired. She's so energetic. You might use it if without changing your personality, okay? Now I'm talking about the archetypes. You don't have to change yourself, changing all your personality. You're just choosing one that you think, okay, it suits me better, okay? You don't need, if you're fire, you don't have to choose one and be a water, okay? If you have such an energy, you're fire, okay? Okay, the third archetype is perfect lover. Perfect lover. Actually, it's working sometimes, but not with all people, because perfect lover, it's lover that empathic, understanding, make others feel seen and admired. So you literally create your whole personality and you become like an angel, okay? But if you're a bitch, you can't use it. Okay, if you're a mean girl, you're just gonna look like Melania Trump, sometimes like this, something like this. A perfect lover, sometimes it's working with people that mentally healthy. Okay, if your partner mentally unhealthy, he's gonna think you're weak. He's gonna think what's happened to you, and you're gonna feel yourself like such an idiot. Okay, and he's just gonna use you. Another type of archetype is a dandy. I'm actually, I forget everything like a fish, so I have my notebook. Dandy. It's a kinda when you have your unique style, when you just, you have your features, you don't look like everyone, you're elegant, independent, stand out with style and aura. The symbol of this archetype is the orchid. Look at this flower. This flower looks so unique. But people like it because it's unique, okay? People like original things, okay? So if you have such a style. You have such a style. You don't look like every person, you see you have such a style, you have such a fears, maybe you have big lips, or maybe you have big eyes, maybe you have big cheeks, okay, and your your face look like you look like a doll sometimes. So all those girls that cosplayers, okay, all girls that they have such interesting features, interesting body, it's a dandy. If you read the book, you might think how you have to act with people, okay? If you're a perfect lover, of course you need to act like a perfect lover. I mean, it's obvious. So you act yourself, you create fantasy for those people, okay? Look at them, Lauren Sanchez. Look at the Lauren Sanchez. I watched her interviews and I might tell you that she's a perfect lover. She's a perfect lover, and she created these archetypes, and look how she talks with people. She make others feel seen. She listens them, literally. So those are really rare things, it's happened very rare, because a lot of people now, they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to listen. They don't even want to listen to you. Another type of archetype is a natural. When you naturally spontaneous, you're empathic, also you're playful, you're innocent, like a child, okay? But in his book, he said like the symbol of this archetype is a lamb. So you can't really act that way if you're not innocent and you're not like a lamb, okay? So it's come with this pure aesthetic. Just look at Asian girls, sometimes they look like babies and they act like like lamb, and it's really so attractive for some people. Okay, you can't be attractive for everyone. You just choose one that suits you better, and that's it. Another type of archetype is a charmer. So those are people who literally, they like a mirror, okay? So we all have an ego, okay? Let's start with this. We'll all have such an ego, especially men. They most likely think like that everything is about them. Everything is about them. So you just show them that look how perfect you are. Oh my god. Like, look, you're just like a mirror, okay? A lot of people, they're focused on themselves, they're self-obsessed, and you like a charmer. And a lot of men that self-obsessed, they literally like narcissists. They really need this type of girls. They don't want beautiful, pretty women. They need a charmer that only gonna talk about his beauty, only gonna talk about his personality. Okay, he needs someone that gonna focus on him only 24/7. So it's working sometimes. So another type of archetype is charismatic. Actually, those type of people, they're very confident. They're so smart. They have such a personality, they have strong standards. They're so magnetic, strong energy. They attract through personality, okay? Not everyone like them actually, okay? For example, Jennifer Lawrence. Oh my god, she's my best. I want to marry her even. She has such a personality. She's so charismatic. Okay? She's unique. She have a strong energy. Her own energy. Her own voice. The way how she speak. Actually, Trump, he actually charismatic. He has his own like such a mentality, okay? He has his own vibe. And I think Melania, she look more like dandy. She have such a unique style. She's elegant, independent, and she have such a unique accent. She more like dandy because she doesn't look like all first ladies before, like a princess, or she doesn't look like them at all. And last archetype is a star. So it's actually glamorous, rare, dreamlike. You like a dream, girl like a dream, create fashion, fantasy, you like idol. Good example of a star archetype is her name. Oh my god, I forgot her name. Hilton. But her name I forgot. That's just the end, but those are main archetypes that you may use in order to seduce people, in order to create your own archetype, to create your own, vibe. You may call it a different way, doesn't matter. So literally you creating, you have such a vibe, okay? And sometimes you can't really choose 2 of them or 3 of them, and meantime be like a siren and be a natural lover or be a perfect lover. That's not go together, okay? If you siren, you're like water, okay? No one might catch you. You create such an energy. You have such a sexy voice. You know, you're so feminine. You live in your life, in your head. You literally live in your bubble. You're not gonna. You only focus on yourself. You know, just look at the all self-obsessed ladies. They're all self-obsessed, and they live in their world. Okay, they don't. Siren can focus on someone else. Siren can texting first. Siren actually just live in her own life. Do what she want. The less you talk about yourself, the more people want to know you. The less you give people information about you, the more people want, to learn something about you. So that's the way how it's working. That's why it's very important to not talking about yourself at all. Sometimes you just need to be a good listener, especially with men, because honestly they don't really listen and what you said. They just look at your eyes, your skin, but they're not really listen to your words. In my previous video I was talking about the archetype of angel, archetype, witch archetype. Actually it's not even connected with this book. It's something that I created myself, because I see that a lot of women, they have a witch beauty. They have this, they might act like a witch. Witch is so mysterious, okay? And she live in her own world. She have her own world. She's so magnetic. It's also like a creature. She's not a human even. But the symbol of witch, I think the symbol of witch is us. You like Mother Earth. Just so like grounded, okay? You're so mature. And a lot of women that have this such a beauty, look at them. Carrie Bradshaw. She have such a unique beauty. She have a witch beauty, and she actually hated her natural hair color, and when she dyed and turned into blonde, it's look like horrible, okay? It's not suit her at all. When you have a witch beauty, you can't look like a lamb or like some cute girl like a Charlotte, okay? She's so cute, yeah. I really hope that's gonna help you, and I really want you text me my comments which archetype I look like. Maybe I can't see it myself, but you might help me. Thank you so much. Bye bye.